Greetings, I am Wanda Gwyn Zimmerman, and I am your instructor for this course in Topics in British Literature. And I am really excited to be teaching this course, but before I tell you why, I'm going to explain the Gwyn. My name is Wanda. It is a name that was given to me at birth by my mother and my father, but they never asked me if I wanted to be named Wanda. And so when I got into my 40s, I decided I wanted to be Gwendolyn. Maybe it was hearkening back to my love of British culture and Celtic culture, because Gwendolyn is a Welsh name and it means fair brow. Guinevere also means fair. That root word Gwyn means fair, which used to mean just blonde and pale skin, but then later came to be defined as good looking. Now, I'm not saying I'm good looking, but hey, I do have a fair brow. But on to this course and why I am excited to be teaching it. My master's degree is in British literature and creative writing, and I chose British literature over American literature because I simply like British literature better. My passion is for ancient history, and one of my biggest passions is mythology, and we will see how myth applies in some of these works that we read, but the older the better. American literature is simply too recent and too modern, which does not mean that we are not going to read modern works in this class, because we are. We're going to read To the Lighthouse, and we're going to read by Woolf, and we're going to look at some James Joyce. But we are going to start with Beowulf and Gawain the Green Knight. Now, when I was in an undergrad, my professor pronounced it as Gawain, but I tend to say Gawain because it seems to be the most prevalent and common pronunciation of that name. So we're going to start in the past and work forward to the future, and we're going to end with really contemporary works, of which you will have a choice in Module 10. And so I am excited to be teaching this class because of my love for British literature, but I'm also excited to be teaching it because I'm going to get to show off all of the trivia that I have learned for years, for decades even. And one is when we read The Wife of Bath, that she has a gat tooth. And gat tooth means that she has a space there between her first teeth, her front teeth, not her first teeth, her front teeth. And many people, especially students or people who are not students of Chaucer, do not know that means that she was sensual. She'd been married, I think it was 5 times. Well, that space in her teeth was an indication of her sensuality, and that was the reason why she had so many husbands, even though she was a widow. But we won't go into maybe why her husbands died. So I have a lot of trivia that I can impart to you. Now, I have been teaching literature for a long time, and I only recently, as a matter of fact, last term, started teaching courses on a grad level. And the first course I taught was in Victorian literature, which I really, really enjoyed. But you know, I think I'm going to enjoy this class even more, and it is because of the wide range of works and genres and in the time period, just one period, that we are going to cover. I made some notes. I don't usually make notes when I do a video, but I did. So I already noted that we're going to go from the old to the new, from Beowulf into the contemporary. And we are going to go from warriors to gender issues and children and other aspects in between. And actually, that was the only notes that I had, so I guess I kind of covered all of that. So again, I hope that you are enthusiastic about the prospect of this class, because boy, I am. I truly look forward to spending the next 10 weeks with you and expounding on these works that we are going to read. Actually, it's interesting because I haven't read To the Lighthouse, but my master's thesis was on a work by Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway. And so I'm looking forward to reading yet another work of hers. And I'm very familiar with Beowulf and Gawain and some other works that we're going to read, and some are going to be fairly new to me as well. So I have some reading to do. I am lapsing into babbling, and I am going to get out of that mode, and I am going to say, I am Wanda Gwen Zimmerman, and I do prefer to be called Gwen. That was a point I was going to make. But you will see Wanda all the time, and if you call me Wanda, that's fine. I'm not a professor. I am Ms. Zimmerman. If you don't feel comfortable calling me by my first name, but I'll answer to just about anything that is polite. I have had students who have even called me Invader Zim. Do you remember that cartoon? So I lapse back into babbling. I'm going to be quiet and let's get to it.